And first through this morning is Jason. Jason, good morning.
Good morning.
How are we?
Lucky you didn't have the show yesterday, because I think I was still spitting feathers.
I think we all were, to be honest.
I see, you know, I mean, I see that in a pun comment on the after the reaction, that whole team needs to be put in the transfer market or something. You know what I mean? They were terrible. And again, Sunday felt like a pre-season friendly, or just a kickabout in the park. There was you could hear there was no atmosphere at Ibrox. I watched a bit of the highlights, and the players that stood out for me were Butland and Barami and Barn. The rest of them, you know what I mean? They all can go put themselves in the transfer market, go and find another club, because they're certainly not worthy playing for Rangers. They're certainly not worthy playing for Rangers. I don't know about Giga was on. You know what I mean?
Right, Jason, just on that, right, only two things, right? That's what I was worried about in my reaction, right? Because on the match day coverage, as soon as, because obviously we do the kind of reaction immediately now, effectively, I was really holding back for going, that's it, that's the season done. Depending obviously on what we do in the January window. But there's a lot of games now before January, obviously. And I was going to go down the route of, well, if we're dropping points at home to Falkirk and playing like that, how many more points are we going to drop before the transfer window opens? And even when the transfer window opens and we bring in another 3 or 4 players possibly, how long is it going to take those 3 or 4 players to bed in? Are they going to get swept away with the negativity and the mentality that the majority of these players seem to have? How do we get out of this kind of spiral of just incompetence?
That is the $1 million question. You know what I mean? You've got players there, international standard players. Let's not beat about the bush here. There's players that be international pedigree in that dressing room that can't kick their own arse. Sorry for swearing. They just can't do it. They've done it, and it seems to be the ones that have been brought in and had the Russell Martin brain drain on them. They've sucked the good players into the depths of mediocrity.
Paul, good morning.
Morning, Martin.
How are we?
Not too bad. And what can we say about Sunday? Simple answer: we were effing shite.
Well, I'm glad that you had the first swear word, but you went full in straight away with the second swear word. I'm loving it, Paul. I'm loving it. It's still not good enough for your striker, Scott.
No,
and that's where we are.
No, it's not. It's not good enough. Especially when you sell a guy that scored 50 goals in 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a winger who scored, was it 16 goals last year? You know, and Kearney and Iggerman. I mean, between the three of them, there was 60 goals last year.
True.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, now we spent £8.5 million into Meaty. We could have got Kearney for £7.5 million.
He knows what he needs to do in January now. He knows who he needs to get in and everything else that for January. So that there's going to be a massive shake-up come January.
There has to, again, the January thing, Scott. There has to be a massive. There's no option for us to not have a massive shake-up in January, because it's one of those ones, right? See if some of the players who are there right now are good enough, but just need time to settle in, right? That's fine if it's one player, maybe 2, Scott, right? You can get away with 2 needing to settle in, who maybe aren't playing their greatest, but show you glimpses here and there of what they can do. Like the Barisic effect, right? Borna showed us a little bit about what he could do. It then took him the best part of 14, 15 months to settle in. And then once he settled in, the assists were coming. He played a lot better at left back, blah, blah, blah. We can't do that with 14 players, Scott.
No. To be quite truthful, we went overboard in the summer, Martin, bringing in too many players at one time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, was it? And I'm not defending Russell Martin in any way, but we brought too many players in at one time. We would have been better keeping Dezers for another season, albeit, right, fair enough, we might have had to take a hit on him. But to get rid of 60 goals and then go out and buy what we did was absolutely crazy.
There is always room for improvement, but again, I think we seen it before Danny Rule came in, when Stephen Smith had the team, how bad they actually were.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And as Ross says, you can't blame him for this squad. This isn't his squad.
No.
Right? No. We've had, and again, we've always said there's been something stinking. And we were always blaming the board, blame the manager, blame whoever. But the sole blame there has got to lie with the players. The sole blame has got to lie with them. And trying to get that mentality back into this team is the $1 million question. You can't sack players. You know what I mean? We would love to. But
Aye.
unfortunately, it's a manager that ultimately pays the price.
No, and I think that you reflected the majority of the support, and including myself. I'm just absolutely miserable. That game on Sunday, it felt like something snapped or something like that. I don't know. In my mind, it was just, I just can't be bothered with this anymore. That kind of feeling. Let's take a scorched earth policy and just get rid of everybody. That's the way it kind of felt. That is an overreaction, but that's just the way it felt at the time.
100%.
I was thinking, well, anything to do with Kevin Thelwell, get rid. So I was looking at the manager as well, which is ridiculous. Even I'm saying it, ridiculous. But that's the way I felt.
Anger does strange things, or maybe not anger, apathy, maybe.
Yeah, total apathy, misery, sadness. You know, just because I'm looking at Danny Rule and I'm thinking, you can be given the worst squad of players, but can you not get them fired up?
The highlights and seeing how empty Ibrox actually was for a Sunday league game. This side, I can understand it. Start of December, money's now starting to become a wee bit tighter, but I can understand why folk aren't gone. There's nothing to go for. There's not. It's like we're just going through the motions. Remember how we used to have the dull, boring games at the end of a season, where the league was won, everything was done and dusted, and players were just playing the games to the end of the year. That's the way it felt on Sunday.
It did have that feel, and it had that feel more so, I think, with the supporters. I think you're right. I think you're spot on, Jason. That watching the game and listening to the crowd, it almost, like you say, felt as though it was one of those end of season games where there's 2 games to go. You can't go any higher. You can't go any lower. You can't go any lower. Try that in actual English. And there was no jeopardy on the game.
I think we're just seeing the crowd reflecting how we've been building all season towards this, and even my mindset after the game. You know, I always watch the Rangers podcast yourself and all the other guys, and I just couldn't be bothered because it was just going to be the same conversation that we've been having, and we keep talking about, could this guy come good? No, this guy's rubbish. This guy's rubbish. We sell him. Who can we get in January? All week I'd been saying, we just need to get to January, and then I realised we didn't even get to December. And we dropped points. And it's
like you say, it's literally the exact same conversation, season on season on season on season.
I was thinking to myself, if I come on here, is there anything I can say different to anybody else? Can we talk about something else?
Well, is there anything, and I really shouldn't be talking like this because at the end of the day, this is my job, but is there anything that you can come on and say that you haven't already said in the past?
I don't know.
The manager
Any-
might
any-
come good.
Any good movie recommendations?
Well, actually, do you know we watched? It's not quite a movie, but the other night the missus found something on Netflix. It's called The Beast in Me. Right?
I've seen it advertised. Yeah.
Have you seen it advertised? It's actually not bad. So before I let you go, I've got to ask you. No, unless of course you might phone in tomorrow. I don't know. You might. Prediction for tomorrow night.
More apathy. Probably the same conversations about the same players after the game. Let's go for a absolutely dreadful 1-0 win to Rangers.
I never said it. I never said it out loud, right? But that would then justify Scott us getting rid of a £10 million player on loan because we've sacked the guy who brought him in.
I mean, right, and I know I'm going to get slated in the chat when I say this.
You probably
Right,
deserve
okay, but I will say it. We would have been better keeping Ben Davis and bringing Jigger up.
Yeah. No, nobody's going to argue with that. So between the three strikers that we've got, who one's played 20 games, one's played 17, and one's played 14, 6 goals.
Jesus.
6 goals between those 3 players, and all 3 of them have got a single assist each. So thank you very much, everybody. I'll see you all hopefully at 5 p.m. Hope you enjoy the rest of the content coming your way today. And speak very, very soon.